This is the entrepreneur. This is the entrepreneur in all of us. This is the person that knows everything and knows nothing all at the same time. It's the person that takes out the trash. It's the person that does the business plan. It's a person that does all the funding. And this is where we came from. This is entrepreneurship in a different era. But it was entrepreneurship nonetheless. But what are the differences in today's entrepreneur from these folks? Well, these folks had a little different time. When Fred needed funding for his Conoco station, where did he go? Did he go to venture capitalists? Did he go to angel funding? I don't think so. Okay. There were friends, family, bank loans, mortgages, and whatever he could scrape up from savings. That was the basis of entrepreneurship in this country. And somehow we took a turn. But yeah, it was a time when banks did loan money for presumably risky ventures. They did take your house as collateral. And if you remember the movie It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart, that's what the whole thing was all about. How do you pay back the money? You pay back the money by working hard, making a profit, knowing your market, and selling the right products into that market. What a concept. What's changed? Well, today's entrepreneur is different. It's evolved. There are new dependencies on mentors, coaches, advisors, grants, subsidies. Notice we never mentioned self-funding in all this, okay? Everyone wants to get to the holy grail of meeting a great angel investor, meeting a great venture capitalist. How to do that, how to set them up for that. The expectations are different. There were no incubators a long time ago. There were no mentors. There were no coaches. So you had to learn by the seat of your pants. Today's entrepreneur learns and acts a little bit differently. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? We'll leave that for the history books to decide at some point. But it's certainly evolved. Are things more complex? Yeah, things are more complex. Does that make it better or worse? I don't know. It's just different. When people think of entrepreneurs, they think of funding. Entrepreneur always needs money. Remember starving artists? It's the same correlation. Entrepreneur needs money. Well, it's not always the case, but certainly funding for early stage companies and enterprises is a tough slog, as many of you have already found out. It's not easy. We found that over the years, I would say well over 90% of the companies that we look at, and my friend Dick will corroborate that in a little while, aren't ready to accept funding. They don't have a great business plan. They don't have a great business model. They may not have a great business idea. They don't have an investor presentation that's sophisticated and geared to exactly what they're trying to do. In other words, the expectations of getting funding don't match the metrics and applications of getting a company funded. And hopefully we'll get some information today on what those metrics are, how you can work towards that, and of course we're here to help you and maybe change the paradigm a little bit. Well, before an investor parts with funds, what are they looking for? What are the driving factors that usually get people to hand you a check? Well, a great return on their investment? Yeah. Okay. Sustainable companies? Absolutely. A future? Yes. How can you expand? Yes. But what are the intangibles that investors are really looking for right off the bat? Well, sorry about it's a little grayish, but I think you kind of get the gist. It's passion. What's changed? Nothing. Nothing's changed. They're the same as they were when Fred opened his Conoco station. It's passion. It's commitment. It's involvement. And it's the knowledge of your market. I think that's probably the most important thing. Do you know who you're selling something to? As an incubator director, our goal is, yeah, we develop a lot of technologies, we write a lot of business plans, and we do a lot of planning. At the end of the day, you gotta sell something to somebody. If somebody buys your product, you've taken that first step towards evaluating a market. Not the final step, a first step. If you can get 2 people to buy your product, now you're cooking. And that's the evolution. One of the big dynamics that's gone on in recent years is naturally the internet, social media. Now, instead of reaching persons one at a time, when Joe or Mary comes in to fill up their car with gas from the Conoco station, you can reach millions of people all at one time to tell them who you are, what you do, and here's what it costs to buy my product. It's a huge change in philosophy, in market acceptance, and the market in general. Jack Welch is one of my heroes. I think he's really the stud when it comes to being an entrepreneur, being a talented guy himself. Yeah, he was, CEO of a very large company in GE, but if you haven't read Jack's books, you owe it to yourself to do that. You may not agree with everything he says. Nobody does. It's okay. But it's a study in developing what you are, who you are, and what you want you and your products and companies to be. And I think it's a great inspiration.